Hey guys, so in this video I will go through Semmelweis Euphoria again because previously I have done it but it's without the numbers. So here I'm going to explain it again with the numbers. So her Euphoria Tier 1 basically made her a Bloodtithe character, and when entering battle she get max HP plus 50%, and that's pretty good. And all allies gain Semmelweis max HP 10%. So everyone has higher HP, which works very well for Bloodtithe team. As for Tier 2, effective means buff, so fresh blood. Additionally, increase the target damage dealt by 10% and duration granted statuses is increased to 3 rounds. And fresh blood effect changed to when taking action, lose 10%, critical rate 20%, and critical damage 20%. So now one more is actually from Tier 4, but I don't want to explain the full Tier 4, but there is one remark there for fresh blood. It increases extra action damage dealt by 10 or 20%. Here I'm going to assume that it is 20%. Okay, and here if you see the buff itself, actually it grants 15% damage dealt to all allies and additional 10%. So what does this means right now with this Euphoria? So the changes that happen to fresh blood, first of all, is HP loss increases from 5% to 10%. Crit rate increases from 15% to 20%. There's new additional stat which is crit damage 20%. 15% damage to ally remains the same, but now for the targeted unit, or simply to put it, the character that has fresh blood will get additional 20% more damage, so total they will get 35% damage boost, and extra action deals additional 30%. And so in the context of Nautica, because Nautica's ultimate is indeed a follow-up attack, so it's an extra action, so you are getting up to 65% damage boost just from fresh blood. And we have not accounted for Semmelweis blood domain, which is her array. For her Tier 3, when ally increase blood type by 8 points, Moxie plus 1, Truth Reveal deal an additional 100% relative damage using own max HP times 30% instead of attack, and increase blood type by 2. So Tier 3 makes her very AP friendly. You don't really need to act much, because now if you are draining your own HP, then you are charging up Bloodtithe, she will eventually get 4 or 5 Moxie and you will get her ultimate again. But what we are really interested in is that you want to get 5 Moxie so that she can cast her ultimate every 3 rounds, since the blood domain only lasts for 3 rounds. So first of all, fresh blood also lasts for 3 rounds. So which means in a cycle, in a rotation, you just need to use her buff once on your main DPS and then use her out. So in that case, you want to get at least 4 Moxie. So 4 Moxie means you need at least be able to accumulate up to 32 Bloodtithe in that 3 rounds. Then it will be very effective to play Semmelweis. As for her ultimate, True Reveal, now is additional 100 relative, base is 80, so it's 180 plus 30 per instant of HP loss. So HP loss, like if one of your characters loses HP when they use a skill, so in 1 round, let's say you attack 4 times, so you lose HP 4 times, so that's additional 120% damage. So overall, in maximum, you can get it like 20 times. So do note that each time actually refer to one character, so if you use the AoE skill that drain all your character's HP, that's 4 times. So you have to do that a lot of times, then you can get up to 20 times. So if 20 times, then her potential damage will be 780 relative damage. But let's say in an average scenario, I mean, how are you going to get 20 times every round? I think that's quite impossible. So let's say you are getting like 5 instances to 7 instances, then you get total about 300-400% out of True Revealed. But what makes it hit really hard, I mean, now if you saw some video on pre-Euphoria Semmelweis, and she can already hit quite hard using her ultimate. Now it's going to be even stronger. It's really going to be very high, and that is because of the skilling is based on 30% of max HP rather than attack. So HP is always way higher than attack, and 30% of that is still higher than attack stats. As for her array, it also gained a boost from tier 4 Euphoria. So what happened is that allied character now gain healing taken plus 10%, and for every 10% missing HP is additional 4% healing taken up to 32%. Then this one based on the max Bloodtithe. So if you bring a team where everyone has pretty low HP and you get very low Bloodtithe, then it's not going to be that effective. But if you bring her into the Bloodtithe team, obviously you can have a very high maximum ceiling for Bloodtithe. So which means getting to 70 is not a problem at all. So assuming now it is at 70, then you get additional extra action damage bonus by 30%. Okay, and now if the blood domain is active, any character taking an action will lose 5% of current HP. So this helps to charge up Bloodtithe as well. So in base, Bloodtithe actually provides 20% damage reduction, and for every 10% missing HP, additional damage bonus 5% up to 40%. So let's say if your main DPS is at 20% HP, then they are getting 40% damage bonus. However, it's going to be very risky if you put your character at 20% HP. Even with all the damage reduction from Bloodtithe team, I wouldn't really recommend it. So it would be more practical to say that your unit HP will be about 50%. Okay, so in that case, if you consider 50%, the array itself will give a total of 20% damage reduction, 30% healing taken, 25% damage bonus, and 20% extra action damage bonus. So let us add that up together with fresh blood. And what we get here is 20% crit, 20% crit damage, 60% damage boost, and 50% extra action damage boost. So if you go back to Nautica's ultimate, that's 110% damage boost on Nautica's ultimate. And that's pretty insane. Okay, for Semmelweis gameplay, now is very easy as I mentioned. She started off with 4 Moxie, so use her buff in the first round to buff up Nautica, and then you use ultimate in the second round, starting the blood domain array. Then with Nautica doing all the attacks, draining all the HP, you are very likely to get 32 Bloodtithe in 3 rounds. So by the time you get through the 4th round, her ultimate will be up again, and then you immediately use the ultimate again. But whatever you do, don't forget to buff your main DPS with fresh blood. Even if you already have 5 Moxie, make sure to use fresh blood on your main DPS every 3 rounds as well. Okay, one more thing that I want to point out, because you might be thinking, oh, okay, with P1 Nautica, you start off with a 16 Bloodtithe, that would give 2 Moxie to Semmelweis. You are not wrong, but because she get that at the start of the round, after all the incantation has been placed onto your spell dock, so her ultimate will not be able to generate, right? So do note, so whatever you do, you only can cast her ultimate in the second round. So for team comp, Nautica, okay, the healer option can be Ezra or Medicine Pocket, you decide whichever you want. And of course, E2 Eternity can also work very well using Semmelweis as a support. But in this case, E2, so for at the moment in 2.8, I'm not talking about future patches, but in the current patch 2.8, you can slot in Flutter Page, right? Due to an empty slot there. Another team comp here that you can try out is using Semmelweis as DPS. And here you can bring in Eternity E1. The advantage is that Eternity E1 does provide a little bit more HP to the party, and also have crit damage as well as crit conversion. But if you don't have her, it's fine. You can use Pickles. Pickles provide a lot of damage boost to mineral units. and then you bring in Bloodtithe as the follow-up attack, because most of Semmelweis damage will be from follow-up attacks. And for healer, I would suggest Euphoria. The reason is because if you put Semmelweis HP really low, she can make full use of her array, the damage boost. So Euphoria providing shield will be the best option, because you don't want to heal her, you want her HP to be low, so a shielder will be perfect. So in that case, total buff she can provide herself is 20% crit, 20% crit damage, 75% damage boost, and 50% extra damage boost, extra action damage boost. So now the question again, should you pull? Well, she will be available in the Euphoria banner, so you really can decide if you want to pull for her or not, especially those of you that came in the game late and you did not get her free copy, which is back in the previous anniversary. So my answer to you here is, if you are going for Nautica, you should pull her, like really, don't skip. Okay, she is really important for the Bloodtithe team, so you really want her in your roster. So up to date, she is still one of the best support for Nautica. So not only she provides potent buff, but her ultimate, buff, array all help to drain HP faster, which means you will be able to charge Bloodtithe faster, and Nautica will be able to spam her ultimate more often, equals more damage. But other than that, if you are not really planning to pull for Nautica, then you don't have to get Semmelweis. It's better to keep your resources for the Dynamo team. And here I'm assuming that you will go for either the Bloodtithe or Dynamo team, because if you're skipping both, then that will be very weird. I won't recommend you to actually skip both. Now you really do need either one of the team to clear future content, especially Reverie, right? Just the Assassin's Creed team alone will not be able to clear 450 meter, because that's 4 fights and technically you need 4 teams. Okay, so that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching and good luck with your pulls.